followers and YouTube lurkers. So it's 5:30 in the morning at Madonna Bay on the northwest coast of Lombok. We've spent 3 nights here on the moorings in this gorgeous flat calm bay with a really nice little restaurant and cafe, staff ashore. They call it Madonna Bay Marina, but as of 2022 there's no marina here, but there is moorings and a little space to anchor too, although you've got to anchor in very deep water. Anyway, we've got a bit of distance to do today. I think we've got 70 miles. We're going to zip across to Bali. On the north coast we're going to go to a place called Lovina and hopefully spend a couple of nights there, and Tan can get her Bali experience that she's really been looking forward to, and we get to stay away from Kuta and, you know, that Bali experience. So we've got a buddy boat again, Bruce from Astrid, who we know from a few years ago. We sailed the Queensland coast with him and his wife Garvey. Garvey's not with Bruce at the moment, maybe join him later in Malaysia, but in the meantime we're going to go from here to Malaysia in loose company with Bruce. He's a fantastic guy, good sailor, just a really, you know, down-to-earth nice guy, good company to have, and we can help him out and he can help us out when we need it. So it's always good to have, in those remote areas, to have a couple of buddy boats. So I just let go of the mooring here at Madonna Bay. The GPS is still not working, so I've got the Navionics chart plotter on my tablet, which is also on its way out. The screen's dying on that. Anyway, whatever. Good Bali. There's our buddy boat Astrid leading us out through the reef, seeing as our GPS has crapped itself again. But we are using the backup, so he's like a backup to our backup. Plus there was leads on shore, so they're the ones I've been primarily following. But yeah, spot on both of us. Anyway, we're going to follow him out, heading to Bali this morning. Bye bye Madonna. Still motor sailing again. Very typical this time of the day around this part of the world at this time of the year for us. It's been calm, but we have got the main up. We're catching about 4 knots of wind. I'm going to set the headsail shortly. We'll do some motor sailing and on our way over to Bali. We've got about 70 miles to do today. That's why we're motoring along. We're going to keep the speed up, try and get there before dark. So we found a bit of wind out here in the Lombok, Bali Strait, and I knocked the engine back to neutral and it quit. It just stalled. I don't know why that would happen. So I turned off the ignition and went back downstairs, had a look for anything obvious on the engine. She hadn't overheated. Still had all her coolant, all the belts were still in place. There didn't appear to be any leaks or anything. Don't know why it would happen. Anyway, then I restarted the engine and it started just fine. Go figure. So anyway, I've switched it off because we're sailing now. We're getting about a good 15 knots off our starboard side, and that 15 knots is giving us a good 7.5. So while we're getting that, we're going to keep sailing because it's awesome. But I'm going to have to do put a thinking cap on and figure out what's going on with that engine. Hopefully it gets us into Lovina, and then I can have a better look at it. One of my suspicions is fuel, because there's not a lot of things that can make the engine quit. It's either got to have no fuel or air in the fuel, or no compression, or one of the sensors, you know, shuts it down, but I don't think that happened. So it's possible that the shit fuel we've had well east of here from Saumlaki through to Calabahi, or even beyond Calabahi to Bajo. Yeah, from Saumlaki to Bajo, we refilled twice with, a very dark coloured diesel, and I suspect maybe that's just gumming up the primary filter. Anyway, when we get to Lovina, I'll be able to change that filter, or at least have a look at it and see if there's anything obvious there. Otherwise, I don't know what would make it quit. There you go. Challenges. But we do have a buddy boat, and he's pretty mechanical, this guy, so I might have to lean on him a little bit in Lovina to see how we go. Well, we've moved out of that rough. Yeah, just talking to a buddy boat. I've lost my AIS, so he's helping to get us around the shipping in front of us. Yeah, mate, I've just come up 30 degrees to port, so I'm heading 280 true. Yeah, we just got a fair bit of shipping going on here. Ooh, well, we got flat water. That's pretty cool. We're flying along now. I reckon we're doing 9s easy. So there's the ship that Bruce is talking about. We're just going to come up a little bit higher so we pass around behind him. And there's another vessel approaching them. So there's 4 of us actually coming into an area of about a mile square, I guess, thereabouts. You have internet, my love? Have internet. Hey, internet. The engine definitely sounds to me like it's hunting, just ever so slightly. When we get a wave or pressure behind the boat, or when the boat rolls a little bit, I can hear the revs go down, revs come up. But when I look at the rev counter, it doesn't seem to have changed much, if at all. So I'm either oversensitive about it, or I'm ahead of the curve and there's some blockage going on in the primary filter. It's about the only thing I can think of. For the last hour I've been threading our way, probably longer than that, 2 hours, been threading our way through these bloody F80s at the north end of Bali. These ones are particularly insidious because they're made of bamboo. They don't have lights, they don't have flags, they don't have anything that really is visible from a long distance, and at that colour they blend into the horizon. Like you're getting the light at a good angle here, that's why I'm filming it. So that engine's threatened to quit quite a few times now, and it's just getting more and more often. It's definitely got an issue, most likely the fuel filter. I'm just trying to get another hour's anchorage, another hour's motoring to get down to an anchorage so I can get into the anchorage, anchored, and then deal with it, rather than trying to deal with it out here. That's assuming that's the fault, of course. The problem I've got too is that typically in the afternoon the wind drops right out to nothing, so not only could I end up with no engine, I could end up with no wind to sail as well. So it does present itself as a bit of a problem. Anyway, all you can do is hope for the best, I guess. So made a decision to detour to a little place called Sangaraja, which we can see now. We're probably only 4 miles out, and on Zulu waterways we can see that there's been some boats anchored there before, so it is possible. So going to get in there while I can and sort this shit out. One of the problems I've got is that I fear as soon as I reduce the revs on the motor that she won't have enough vacuum then to get the fuel through to the injectors and the motor's going to quit, which means I need to approach this anchorage without slowing down from what I'm currently doing, and I'm doing about 6 knots. And the anchorage goes from deep water to shallow water very quickly. So I'm going to leave the main up, so if she does quit on me at the last minute and I need to try and maneuver, at least I've got the main to bear away from land and, you know, start to head out a little bit. And I'm not going to try and reduce revs until I'm pretty damn close to the anchorage. It's going to be hard in the mouth stuff, this one. I doubt we'll be able to film it. I might be able to set it up. Small boat, yeah. So who knows, I might reduce the revs and the engine might keep going. I'll back it off very slowly when I'm ready and hope for the best. The engine was kind to me last night. It let me anchor the boat, decrease the revs and so on. Ended up pulling off the primary filter and there was a little bit of black death, big snotty lump on the top of the filter, but the actual filter itself was clean, which suggests that the tank is not full of black death, but at some point there has been some sludge in there. That may have been picked up going through the fuel lines, was blocking the fuel lines, but we won't really know until I get motoring today. Seems to be running quite well this morning. We're moving about 5 nautical miles down to a place called Lovina Beach in northern Bali, and that's a good 1 hour test for the engine after we've done that. And we'll have another look when we get to Lovina, and then I'll try and get some more spare filters just in case it all turns turtle on me as we leave here. I think I've got 2 more spare primaries that I could put on there if I needed to, but I'd like to have 2 more, especially if there is some black death floating around inside that tank. Because the fuel filter itself looked really clean, it suggests that the tank is not full of black death. It's probably just a chunk that's old or something that's broken off and somehow finally found its way down that fuel line. That's what I'm hoping for anyway. If we've got black death through the tank, I've got a real problem. But I've been treating my fuel in the containers before it goes in the tank and then putting it through a filter. So if there is black death in any of the fuel, the treatment should kill it in the container, and then the filter in the funnel, as I pour it into the tank, that should get rid of anything before it even gets in the tank. So anyway, well, we'll go see Lovina Beach. We're going to go to a supermarket and do our stuff. See you soon. This is the village of Lovina right here. There's 3 other boats already here, and our mate Bruce on Astrid there. The beach itself doesn't look like a nice white sandy beach, but it's certainly a calm anchorage in here. Well, for now anyway. And all the tourists, these small boats take tourists out by the look of it and fish for money. This guy over here talking to Bruce at the moment, bloody near ran me down as we came in, and then chased me all the way into the anchorage and then tried to get me to anchor in a different spot, which was like 50 metres to one other side. And I bet his game is that they get onto the yachts and then they charge him money to be a guide to help them anchor and all this sort of stuff. Anyway, we'll find out soon enough. Bruce is talking to him now. You'll be looking for some way of making some money. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But gee, this was really pushy, eh? We had 2 boats just chasing us in. It was, yeah, a bit much. Anyway, welcome to tourism. That's about the way it goes. So we got a little cash, and I'm going to try and order some diesel. I don't think I've got much chance of getting any fuel filters, but I've got at least 1 more spare, possibly 2. And we've got to get a massage for Tan. This is really important. She's been waiting for it since we got to Indonesia. That's absolutely urgent. And we've got to go to the supermarket. But otherwise a pretty good day. I think we're going to have a chill day today. Just doing a touristy thing here at Lovina on Bali, north coast. So we've just picked the first one at random. Little massage place. $10 each for an hour. It's pretty good. Pretty happy with that. Nice little hotel. My love, are you happy?
Yeah,
you
I'm
have a
happy.
massage?
Very happy.
Not expensive.
I think I hear she said $100.
No, 100,000. So this same
How much?
$10.
$10.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.